morning and good morning and welcome back to Coaching Conversations. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Maria.
And I'm Lourdes Laper. Be sure to stay tuned to the end. And we don't want you to miss the practical practices that we always leave you with at the end of our show.
Right. And today, this episode's for you if you're stuck in a place of apathy or disconnection. It's for you if you feel lost, as if you're just going through the motions, wondering what is the point. Maybe you've got everything you thought you wanted, and yet there's this profound emptiness. We see you, that heavy feeling, this sense that your life is a series of isolated, random events, and your actions don't really matter. We get it. And that's what the show is about today.
Yes. And so, given everything that Maria has just presented, let's consider this question. What if that feeling isn't a flaw in you or your life, but a direct result of a story you're telling yourself about the world? What if the reason you feel so lost isn't because of what you're doing, but because of a fundamental assumption you've been living with, that the universe is just a meaningless, chaotic jumble?
Exactly. And that's the core problem we're tackling today, the feeling of being apathetic and disconnected.
Because what if that's not true? What if there's another story you could tell? We're going to dive into how your most fundamental belief, whether the universe is chaos or order, determines your capacity for meaning, joy, and resilience.
Right. And, if you have this feeling that life is random, it's possible that it's part of your conditioning. Just remember that a lot of who we think we are is really, environment, conditioning, and habit. Because who we are is essentially, having a person who's having an experience, an individual that is human. A lot of this stuff is just really things that we can change, and we can change our perspective, and we can change our how we see things in the world. It's tough when you feel like your entire that your life is just a series of random events, and you have the belief that life is chaotic. Again, that's a belief. And I remember years ago I was feeling so disconnected. I had a good job, I had good friends, but I still felt this overwhelming feeling that nothing that I was doing was truly important, that it didn't really matter. And I felt like it was just, a cycle. I was going to work, I was paying my bills, I was hanging out, traveling, whatever. And one day I'd, just be gone and it wouldn't make a difference. And I know that that's something that still it comes up. It's not something like that it goes entirely away from me, because sometimes when I remember that my parents have passed, if I think of my mom, I think of my dad, I feel that sadness. I think how chaotic life can be, and how sometimes we can feel like it's pointless. And that assumption that sometimes that my life is just a random series of events, it just makes me feel detached or apathetic, like why bother.
Yeah, well, I think we've all experienced periods in our life when it just feels our life feels meaningless and purposeless, and that's part of what this conversation is about. It's we're the deciders of the meaning that we give to our life, and if we have that thought on repeat, my life is meaningless, everything is meaningless, then that will become a belief. And then you'll be guided, your behavior will be
Mhm.
guided by that belief. Um, you know, it's just the byproduct of that one belief that our life is just a confused jumble. But, what if that's not the only option? I remember, I have a friend, really wonderful, beautiful person who was facing a terrible tragedy. Lost her home and everything she owned in a fire. And, instead of giving into despair, I, I can, I marvel at her strength because she said, I don't know why this happened, but I have to believe it's for a reason. I have to believe there's a larger order to all of this. And her beliefs allowed her to find strength in that she wasn't a victim of random chaos. And, this is what existential psychology is all about.
Yeah. The core idea is that our primary human drive is will to meaning. When we feel that life is meaningless, we can't fulfill that need, and we fall into this despair. Um, but we can make that despair a shorter period of time. When we believe that there is a larger order, it gives us that why to live, a reason to find meaning even in the hardest moments. So that apathy I was feeling, I don't consider, even when it comes back, I don't consider it a flaw in me. It's my psyche, telling me that I'm starving for meaning, right? So if you experience that type of feeling, understand that a part of you is starving for meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. I went through a period of time. My daughters were a little bit older. I was really struggling with myself and kind of felt that lackluster sense of loss where it was like, well, what am I doing? Where's my meaning? Where's my purpose? And, I could look at it through one perspective and know that I'm providing value and stability, for my family, but that didn't feel like enough at the time. And that's kind of when I shifted gears and went in another direction that really resonated with the the purpose and meaning and mission that I felt bubbling up within me. It's something that I really needed to do. So, this choice of worldview, um, it will have a physical impact on us. It comes down to one simple truth. It's because our brain is built for meaning. So if you believe the world is just chaos, your brain gets stressed out by the idea of a meaningless universe. And it's like trying to solve a puzzle with no picture on the box. You're working, 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 but you're not getting anywhere.
I love that because that's exactly what it is. But, here's the beautiful part. You can literally train your brain to see the order and think about experiencing, awe. That feeling when you look at the stars or you stand on a mountaintop or you look into the eyes of someone you love, your partner, your child, the baby. Those moments, they connect you to something bigger than yourself, and they release the feel good chemicals in your brain. It's like, a biological high five from the universe.
Yeah, and there's another powerful part of this feedback loop. When you act in a purposeful way, whether it's helping a friend or volunteering, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. And that makes you feel trust, connection, and belonging. Your biology is literally designed to reward you for living a life as if there's a point to all of this.
Yeah. So, how do we shift our perspective from meaningless chaos to purposeful order? And here's the gentle challenge. the next time you feel that, that existential funk, that chaos, try the purposeful lens challenge and just consciously look for connection. Um, you know, look for connection and purpose in your life. It could be as simple as seeing the connection between your work and the people it serves, or a small act of kindness and the smile it brings to
Yeah.
that person.
Yeah, that I mean that's such a powerful way to reframe your life. It's not about forcing yourself to believe something, it's about intentionally looking for evidence that supports a better worldview. And here's another one, take an awe walk, right? It can be 5 minutes in your backyard or around the block, and intentionally notice the small, beautiful things around you. Might be the way the light hits a leaf, or the way that it gets filtered through a tree, um, a beautiful cloud, a perfectly formed cloud, or the intricate design of a flower. The simple practice helps you ground yourself in the vast, ordered beauty of the world. And it's really a very lovely way to ground ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just, if you want to stop just existing and start living with intention and purpose, you know, these practices are for you. In a world of information overload, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. These practices help us zoom out and find our place in it.
Yeah, you're one decision away from a completely different experience. So let's make this into a daily habit. Here's your 4-point practice for a purposeful life. Start with the meaningful moment. Do a check in. At the end of each day, ask yourself, in what moments did I feel a sense of purpose or connection? And then there's the all walk that I just mentioned. Take just 5 minutes to go for a short walk and intentionally look for something that inspires awe.
And then the micro contribution, right? With this practice, do one small kind thing for someone else without expecting anything in return. And then uh, the the why question that you could do in journaling. Once a week, write about one thing you believe in that is bigger than yourself. And really, truly, we hope that you practice this, because if you've been feeling a little lost, it's a powerful way to find your anchor in a chaotic world.
Yeah, and we want to hear from you. Share your experiences, give this practice a try, and let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, remember, your life is not random. And we want to leave you with this powerful quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how.
Thanks for being here. We're walking this path right alongside you. So take care of your heart, take care of your mind, take care of yourself. If you found this helpful, support our work by liking, following, sharing, and subscribing. We'll see you next time.